Hello everybody, I'm Taiko Selchu and welcome to a Company of Heroes 2 Shoutcast. We've got a nice match today between... What? My computer paused for a sec. Between the two new sides in Western Front, the United States, which has this nice circular base. God damn, my computer's shitting itself right now. This nice circular base, and the Oberkommando West, being played by Cataclaw. What is wrong with my computer? Being played by Cataclaw, and then Once Over is commanding the United States forces. These two players are two amazing players. Once Over is the 13th best Soviet player in the world and 25th best German player in the world, and Cataclaw is the 5th best Soviet and the 8th best German. So these people know what they are doing when they play Company of Heroes 2, and their map is Longres, or as it's known in Company of Heroes 2, Longraskaya. They added the Skaya to make it sound more Soviet. This map, a port over from the original Company of Heroes, where it was made by a fan and quickly became one of the favorite maps in the game. It's not one of the favorite maps in Company of Heroes 2. People think it's sort of unbalanced, but with the new factions, presumably it's not very unbalanced because these guys are wearing dresses. That's not the reason, but I'm sure you can figure it out. So we got some not sandbags, wire going up to keep the opponent from using the green cover on this little truck. There's only yellow cover here, yellow cover here. There's a bit of green cover here, but you can't forget very many people behind here. So as long as the Sturm Pioneers are here, you might as well set up some wire, right? Nice little tip there from Cataclaw. And we have Assault Engineers right off the bat because the player chose, what's his name? Once Over chose Armor Company and Armor Doctrine, sorry. And so once you choose Armor Doctrine, you get these two skills right off the bat at 0 CPs, Assault Engineers and Elite Vehicle Crews. The Assault Engineers are nice because they do pretty good damage up close. You saw them force these Volksgrenadiers off almost immediately until the Sturm Pioneers came and added to the fight. And so these guys are nice because the United States really doesn't have a lot of firepower early in the game except with the Riflemen, which they just have to spam. Not like that's a problem, but if you want to do some damage up close, the Riflemen are not going to work. So you're going to be limited basically to one range for a long time as the United States until you find some other infantry to call in or something. And the other nice thing about the Assault Engineers is that you can call them basically instantly when the game starts, and so you don't have to wait for a unit to build the way that you would normally have to wait for a unit to build. Of course, to do that you have to commit to Armor Doctrine right off the bat, but you know, that's not a big deal. And so it looks like Once Over is immediately going to go transition into Rifle Spam, which is right now, I think the chief U.S. tactic, just pump out a lot of the Riflemen before you do anything else with yourself. And that makes sense, because if we look at what the United States can build right off the bat, it's Riflemen, rear echelon troops, which are shitty shit, like from a butt, and an ambulance, which is not going to be very helpful in a fight, although it'll be helpful before, after, and I guess just before and after fights. That's really the only option. So don't build rear echelon troops. Don't do that. They're terrible. Especially if you have assault engineers. Why do you need rear echelon troops? But they do have the volley fire ability, which is pretty sweet. It just suppresses someone, and that'll let you win a fight with some other squad, not the assault, or not the rear echelon troops. They're not going to win a fight if they're busy suppressing someone. They're not going to win a fight if they're not busy suppressing someone, but maybe you can bring in assault engineers or riflemen or something. It's just helpful to pin down a squad, so that's a good thing. But aside from that, you look at what the United States can build off the bat. It's just riflemen, ambulances, rear echelon troops, and then they can activate the platoon command post, which will get them a lieutenant squad once that happens. And here we have a Kubelwagen. Look at these guys. So the Kubelwagen is the machine gun for the Oberkommando West, and it does not have a lot of health. The shitty shit rear echelon troops are shooting the fuck out of this. Look at it. Half health, less than half health, it's got to back out, run away. They're almost killing it. How's the fight going up here? Volksgrenadiers should not have run into those guys, even though they were suppressed. Plus, we have a couple riflemen firing out, taking pot shots. So, Kubelwagen gets its shit pushed in. Oh, rear echelon troops walk around the corner, and there's Volksgrenadiers here. So they really not... I don't know what they were doing for a moment, but they might actually get out of here without taking too many losses. Without taking any losses. That was lucky as hell. These Volksgrenadiers were too busy moving, I guess, to fire. He's going to need an ambulance, though, to heal those guys up if he doesn't want them to just die immediately when they get into the fight. But who am I kidding? They're going to die immediately, no matter what. So let's look at the riflemen to get more familiar with the United States' cream of the crop, bread and butter, milk and cookies basic unit, 5-man squad. It's down to 3 men right now because he is unwisely engaging against a shit ton of Volksgrenadiers. He's just buying time, though, for his lieutenant to come up. Lieutenant gets the bars, but let's keep focusing on the riflemen. Oh, just kidding, they retreated. Let's focus on these guys. Whoop, they retreated. Okay, forget the riflemen for now. It's not time for learning. Learning time is over. Let's learn about the lieutenant. Learning time to start it again. Lieutenant's got a bar. Or 2 bars? Just the 1 bar. 1 bar. And a guy with a Tommy gun. That's the guy in charge. That's the lieutenant. The lieutenant doesn't carry the bar, he makes somebody else carry the bar. Oh, here's a flak half track. These things are kinda neat. I don't know. Check it out, it's got a setup. Oh, also the cool thing about these engineer dudes is that you can upgrade them with flamethrowers, otherwise you're not going to get any flamethrowers as the United States. So let's learn about the riflemen. These aren't riflemen, we can't learn about that, and they're getting destroyed. Where are the riflemen? What do we have over here? Kubelwagen, could have expected that. So it's good to use the Kubelwagen as an area denial tool, good to use it as a killing people tool. Let's see if these mines are going to hit something. See if these mines are going to, boom! That didn't do shit. They're anti-personnel mines, but there's 2 more left, that's pretty cool. You can detonate one without detonating the other. That's pretty impressive. But looks like we're going to try for a pin. The Oberkommando is setting up for a pin, and it's looking... Hey, look, this guy set up some wire here too. So it's looking pretty bad for the United States player here, except here we go to the rescue. It's an AA half-track, which is going to get demolished by this flak half-track if the flak half-track fires at. These are basically the same unit. Whichever opens fire first is probably going to do it. I don't know, this took more damage. Come on, this is the duel of the fates here. Oh, uh-oh, we've got a Panzerschreck in the fight from the Volksgrenadiers. This is getting some rear armor hits because it has to turn around to fire, so that's negating its health bonus, which I guess it's got more health than the flak half-track. But notice the flak half-track's got a setup time. This thing does not have a setup time as far as I know. Also, both players repairing. So I want to learn about the riflemen. I want to do the rifleman learning time. Let's do the right click on the rifleman. Where are you? Okay, so see, they've got grenades and smoke grenades and anti-tank ref grenades, except not really. They don't have any of those. You have to research grenades at the barracks. You have to research smoke grenades at the barracks. They both come in the same research, and the smoke grenades are actually quite good. And for the AT grenade, you gotta reach Vet 1. So that's how the riflemen work. And there's nothing much special about them except you can upgrade back at the HQ bars and stuff, and they can pick up the bars from the HQ once you upgrade them by paying 60 munitions. Again, we have the Duel of the Fates. Maybe a mistake by this flak half-track not focusing on the also flak half-track. And so that's going to lead to the Oberkommando West being pushed off, and the pin not really put into effect for super long, but that's okay because he's got the whole map, and he's got this side locked down fairly well with the Kubelwagen, which is going to be destroyed by this half-track if it ever comes up. This thing's a funny one. You might want to just drive it around backwards. Look at all those guns on it. You don't need that many guns. 1 gun is good. 1 or none. It's the rule with guns. And there you go. So now that the Kubelwagen has revealed it's here, I don't think actually Once Over had even gone over here the entire time. Now that it's revealed that it's here, he's going, Cataclaw is going to want to think about moving it, because otherwise this is going to happen. And Cataclaw realizes this is going to happen, and so he's getting up, maybe not. I don't know. Once Over didn't really commit. Driving over here, exciting, but not very exciting, and now he's going to get fucked up by the 43, or Kenton River. But I was driving back. Okay, so that was a nice little cat and mouse here. He's got himself a lot of breathing room. Ooh, this is dastardly. He's got himself a lot of... This is by the assault engineers, yes, they can lay these. So they're badass engineers, they can do everything. The nice thing about this is that it suppresses. Actually, this thing suppresses too. That's the weird thing about these AA half-track things. You'd think they're slightly... Yep, I told you it'd fuck up the Kubelwagen. Oh, but the Verkentenwerfer is cloaked, and so this is going to be bad news. It doesn't have a setup time, it's got a reload time. What am I talking about? Ooh, yeah, that's the weird thing about these AA half-track sort of things. They seem to suppress... Maybe this thing doesn't suppress, I can't remember. Fire. Okay, well the other thing suppresses. Suppresses people because it's got those extra guns I was talking about. Not just the big boom boom gun, but also the gun. the 50 cals, and those suppress infantry, so it's kind of a pain in the ass to fight. Luckily it does have not a lot of health like all the light vehicles in Company Heroes 2, so if you have some good anti-tank weapons handheld or something, that'll be pretty nice. We have the M20 utility car over there. It's crewed by vehicle crew. He swapped the vehicle crew for his M20 and no he didn't. These guys are there's been some vehicle crew swapping around because the M20 vehicle crew comes with a bazooka. So if you hop them out, you'll have a bazooka squad walking around. You of course have to find something else to recruit it. Maybe he just recruited it with riflemen or something and reinforce the rifleman squad. But that's how the M20 works. If you play Men of War Assault Squad or Assault Squad 2, you also know the M20 comes with a bazooka in that game. I thought that was a weird coincidence. Then I went on Wikipedia and it turns out, like, I guess M20 crews were typically equipped with bazookas for anti-vehicle usage. So there you go, it's historical. History. Relic reads Wikipedia at least. That's probably about as much research as Relic has done. So now we have a Puma. This is a... no, it's not a Doctrinal. It's a Doctrinal for the Wehrmacht... Oh! for the Oster. It, shot by the bazooka, I believe. Let's see if they got the kill. Nope, they didn't get the kill. So it was finished off by this thing. This is just a messy fight. Look at these infantry. That was a nice flank, by the way. But I don't... Yeah, vehicle destroyed. So it just didn't have enough health to stand up to small arms fire. That's actually surprising to me. I thought that half-track was slightly more resilient, but certainly the United States half-track version, this thing is pretty resilient to small arms fire. I've shot at it with infantry, and it doesn't do bullshit, really. You need some sort of anti-tank to take care of that thing, and we have a 50 cal machine gun called in. Wait. Yeah, okay, that's just normal. Okay, I swapped over to Cataclysm, that's confusing me. Let's swap back to the United States. So, the United States has done a brilliant job of pushing out. He's paid for it with his half-track here, but the trick is just when your opponent's not feeling any heavy vehicles, when your opponent's sort of just like focusing on this light stuff, it's really just a matter of chipping away at them because they don't have anything with some serious staying power. You just pick your fights as often as you can. Nice explosion there, takes out some Fallschirmjägers. You pick your fights as often as you can. Try and do as much damage as you can when they're parked outside your base because you have the advantage there. You can repair and retreat to heal up pretty easily, and so you just sort of try and chip away at them. If they have some sort of tank or something parked outside your base, that changes the equation, and then you start having to think about how you can seriously break out with like some sort of serious anti-tank stuff. But pretty much anything you have in the United States is going to be able to do damage to the lighter stuff that the Oberkommando West has access to, so you don't have to think about sort of switching up your build order or getting anything special or specific if you're stuck in a... Man, that lieutenant just fucking went to town on these Volksgrenadiers. I wasn't watching the fight because I assumed the lieutenant would retreat, but Jesus, that bar... They didn't... I guess they weren't really in cover. Maybe they're in yellow. I don't think the lieutenant was in cover. Maybe these little yellow pits count. But that was nuts. So Cataclysm can't be happy about that. You don't want to lose your infantry squads like that. His capping power is actually much reduced. Now he's down to 1, 2, 3, 4 squads that'll cap for real in the machine gun there can refer. So we do have Fallschirmjäger Doctrine chosen. Fallschirmjäger Commander, sorry, chosen by Cataclysm, so that's gonna give him some good anti-infantry. I like the Fallschirmjäger Doctrine as the Oberkommando, because the Oberkommando just has really good access to a lot of really good vehicles without having to pick any sort of commander. Just on your HQ you can get the Königsträger. On your tier 2 you can't get shit because he hasn't built tier 2. On your tier 3 you can get a Puma, which is not that impressive actually. On your tier 2 you can get a Jagdpanzer, there we go. And then on your tier 4 you can get I think a Panther? Maybe you can't get a Panther, I don't know. I haven't played the Oberkommando West very much. What I've been doing is I've been auto-matching as the plain old Germans, they used to be the Ostheer. I think they got renamed to the Wehrmacht. I don't know what that's about, but I've just been auto-matching as them because I want to know how to beat Americans as them, and it's working pretty well because I'm beating Americans. Vehicle crew can't do shit. They do have 3 vet though. I think that's what you get just by purchasing the elite. By going armored company. I think they just come out at vet 3 as the elite vehicle crew. So that's actually a nice little perk. Gives them a bit of staying power. Let's do a analysis on who's ahead. How's the Tekken going? So we have tier 2 for the tier 3 for the Germans, and he's banking a lot of fuel, 122 fuel. So we have to assume that this truck is going to get turned into something eventually. There's not a lot for him to spend his fuel on unless he wants to double down on light vehicles. The heaviest thing he can get right now is a Puma. So that would be surprising to me if he dumps his fuel into Pumas and stuff. They're going to quickly become, not obsolete, but less useful. Ooh, don't lose a Fallschirmjäger squad. Nice explosion from that grenade. Both sides have to pull out of that one. So it looks like we've got, presumably, bazookas researched up here, so these guys can all grab a bazooka just by paying 60 munitions. That's how it works. It's nice that they painted a little silhouette. Somebody spent a long time like painting this silhouette on this cloth so that they could drape it over the building, and obviously no one can see it. Like, you're down here, you're like, oh, there's the bazooka hut. How do you know? Is the cloth on top? No, nobody can see the cloth on top. How would you see it? So here's the thing. Cataclaw finally dumping his fuel. Oh, he's building a Puma. Color me surprised. No, this Puma was started before he saw the Sherman, so he wasn't aware, and it looks like he's not going to cancel the Puma. He's sunk a lot of build time into it, so I guess he's not willing to give it up. But the thing is, when you're playing as the Oberkommando West, you really have to think carefully about what you're going to spend your fuel and munitions on, because you don't get a lot of fuel and munitions. You get 2/3 what other players get, and so your teching choices and your vehicle choices are pretty crucial. This is the Bulldozer Sherman, which is sort of an anti-infantry thing. It fires a little, like, lob the shell. That's not so great about against vehicles, so the Puma doesn't really have to worry about that. And it can do damage, the Sherman. You see it's building up a tiny bit, but the Puma does have to worry about these bazookas, and I'm just worried that Cataclaw might not get his money's worth out of this Puma. We'll have to see how that goes. Doing some good damage to the Sherman. I'm really surprised he's keeping the Sherman in the fight. I guess he wants to bait the Puma so he can get some... Oh, I was joking when I said the Sherman was not a big issue for the Puma, I suppose. That direct hit took a large chunk of health off, so that's a really good tip. Bulldozer Sherman can fuck up light vehicles if it gets a direct hit. So that's pretty good. This is a really vicious fight here. Yeah, the Fallschirmjägers take some big hits in the beginning, so it looks like they're losing. Oh, but then they get some nice hits on the lieutenant, and he's got to pull out, so that's a nice win for Cataclaw there. Gets his Vet 2. Fallschirmjägers going well. I see a lot of... The thing is, I see a lot of United States players getting these Bulldozer Shermans. If we swap over to Once Over, we will see that it's a call-in you get. And it's tempting. You're like, I'll get this big-ass Sherman and it'll kill a lot of infantry. I'm honestly not super convinced that it's like a tremendous vehicle. So it doesn't have like the crazy staying power that something like the... Oh, what's the name of that big fucking German thing? The Sturm... It's a Sturmtiger, right? Yeah, Sturmtiger. It doesn't have the staying power of one of those huge fucking tanks. You notice it's taking quite a bit of damage just from this Puma. So you can't just drive it in and say, fuck you, I'm going to kill all your infantry without worrying about anything. Like, infantry, anti-tank, handheld weapons you really have to worry about. Something like a Puma you really have to worry about. Basically just AT gun, AT stuff in general. You do have to seriously worry about it with this Sherman Bulldozer. And, I mean, if it gets some lucky hits, it'll blow up some squads. But aside from that, it's not like the most amazing thing. It doesn't just shred them up. It's got a machine gun on top, which helps, and it can make these little barriers, which someone did that the other day outside my base. It didn't do anything. They're just like little rocks about this big. It wasn't really feeling it, but we got a nice little grenade trade over here. We got a... I don't know what that machine gun's trying to do. Maybe cap a point and hold it. The thing, once you get into the mid-game like this, you start using your machine guns as sort of just area denial. You set them up like an enemy territory, capture a point, and then when they send an infantry squad, you force the infantry squad to retreat, and at that point you're buying yourself time just by pushing them off, and they're like, oh, now I know there's a machine gun there, and so then they have to deal with it. And then they can deal with it, but that's when you reposition your machine gun. So we've doubled down on the Pumas for Cataclaw, and so this is partly what I'm saying. So I see US players going for these Bulldozer Shermans, and the thing is, the United States doesn't have a lot of heavy armor. It doesn't have any heavy armor, actually. I think you can unlock a commander that gives you the Pershing. No, it gives you the Jumbo Sherman. But that's not unlocked by default, and you can't buy it, and like it only unlocks like super rare instances. So like nobody has it. So the thing is, the heaviest shit that the United States is going to pull out is something like the Sherman or the Jackson Tank Destroyer. This is not a heavy tank. And that's just not This is not really heavy, right? A Sherman's not really heavy. We see this Sherman getting fucked up by the Puma. What is blowing up? So this for Kettenwerfer isn't doing anything. It's hurting this, I think, finally. Now it's doing something. Kettenwerfers seem to miss a lot. I don't know why Cataclaw doesn't realize this is happening, but oh, pop smoke at the last second. That's good. Do Pumas come with smoke? Yeah, they must come with smoke. Oh, you're fucked. That was, I think, the Sherman doing that. We'll check in a sec. Yeah, Pumas come with smoke once you get Vet 1? No, you don't even need Vet 1. Impressive. Yep, it's got a vehicle destroyed. So, the United States doesn't have really heavy armor, and which means pretty much any AT your opponent gets is going to be sufficient for making your Shermans worry about stuff. And once you're worried about like all the AT, I feel like what you want is the most versatile Sherman that can deal with all the AT your opponent's going to have. So like this Sherman, I guess it's sort of dealing with the Pumas, but a real Sherman, like a for real Sherman, would be fucking the Pumas over much better. A for real Sherman would be slightly worse, I guess, against handheld AT, but the thing is, what you get for that is more immunity from the Pumas. It would be harder for the Pumas to push in on you, so you have more breathing room. It's just, like, playing as anybody against the United States, I feel like I never have to worry about armor very much. Like, anything I was planning on doing for armor against the Soviets, like anything that can handle a Soviet T-34 is going to be able to handle the United States Sherman. And then, so I don't have to worry about the really heavy tanks, and it's just like, well, whatever, I'll get whatever AT I feel like getting. I'll get some infantry handheld AT, I'll get some AT guns, I'll get some Stugs, or I'll get a Panzer IV or something. Like, whatever it is, it's going to work. And so, United States players, I don't know. We'll have to see how the metagame evolves and what sort of tanks they go for. Again, I haven't played a ton, I haven't watched a lot of games, but it seems like the Bulldozer is pretty popular for reasons that are largely escaping me. That was a nice shot. I saw that coming. When they were getting close to this machine gun, I was like, you're fucking asking for it. That's when the Bulldozer shines. That was beautiful. So this has just been a back and forth knock-up, drag-down game. That Puma shot just bounced off the thing. That was pretty funny. Nobody's grabbing the upper hand, and I have to think that partially this is because Cataclaw has been a little sloppy in his teching choices and in his unit usage. He's using the Pumas like you would use tanks. He's just like parking them and firing at stuff. And the only reason they're whoa. 2 of these, in addition to this one that he built. That's really funny. So that's what he's doing for AT. He's not teching up at all. Notice, like, this truck is still up fine. Right as I say that, it makes me into a fucking liar. But he's only going to tier 2. Actually, tier 2 does have some nice stuff though, right? So whoops, I didn't want to double click that. Poor unsupported Kettenwerfers. Oh, that's a nice thing. You can retreat them. I forgot to mention that in my previous cast when I was talking about these things. That's another cool thing they can do. They can retreat. They look kind of weird retreating. The guy pushing it, he's got to be buff as hell. No, the guy using one hand is buff as hell, or he's not helping. I don't know. One of those two. Cast your vote. Do you think the guy who's pushing this thing with one hand while the other guy pushes with 2, do you think he's pushing with one hand because he's buff as hell? Or because he's not helping? So this thing has a Jagdpanzer, right? So you can buy a Jagdpanzer here. But yeah, it's weird teching choices from Cataclaw, dumping his money into Pumas and then using them like tanks. I mean, you can do that versus the United States, right? They don't have super heavy stuff, but I would have expected him to either use the Pumas as the mobile things they are, right? Once you got 2, you want to start thinking about like flanking or something, or going to another side of the map and drawing your opponent out there. No respect for this guy. But instead, he's just using them sort of like, shoot, this could get ugly. This could get ugly. This could get ugly. It's a huge artillery bombardment, by the way. The Armored Company has that for reasons unknown. Boom! It completely overshoots the mark, which could have been actually really bad had Cataclaw been hanging out here, but he wasn't. Look at that crater, by the way. And it just keeps coming. So that one did some damage to the Puma, not so bad. I guess we don't have to watch this anymore, unless it lands way north. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, it did land way north. It went way the fucking north. Look at that shit. So, just for Just for reference, the 240mm howitzer barrage, you call it down here, it lands over here and over here. And maybe eventually someday here. It could fucking kill these guys. Watch. It almost fucking killed them. That's hilarious. So that's... It just keeps falling also. So that was like 4 or 5 shells. That was a nice shot from the Panzerschreck. Killed one of these guys. So now the United States gaining the upper hand, mostly because... Where's the Puma? Yeah, the Puma's stuck back in the base. No breakout potential. No breakout potential with the Pumas. He doubled down on the Pumas when I was expecting him to tech up. And with his low fuel income, that's going to mean it's going to take a long time till we see a tank out of Cataclysm. Maybe never. Rifleman getting just fucked up. They get out though, but they drop a Bizarre Browning. I think I'd rather drop a Browning than... oh, he caught... These Fallschirmjägers caught the Rifleman on the retreat, and this is perhaps a turning point in the battle. The United States player getting a little cocky with his infantry, throwing a lot of them away, but I don't think it matters. He's got a shit ton of squads. I don't know. He's losing positioning. Ooh, nice shot. He's losing position here. All his stuff is being pushed off the field except this 57mm and the 43 and the Sherman, which are probably actually going to be enough to hold it, because he's also did some really good damage to Cataclysm infantry. I don't know. So I actually kind of like that push from the United States. He went balls to the wall, and he's like, look, I'm not even going to give you a moment's respite. I'm going to just push and push and push and do as much damage as I can. If I lose some infantry, that's fine. I know that I have my Sherman and my 2 AT guns that are basically going to hold the center of the map for me. And he was also sending his lieutenant and a saw engineer over here to the left, so he knew that he didn't have to worry too much about losing the left, and so that's cool. He's just probing, continually probing, keeping his opponent on the back foot. That's what you want to do, and the thing is, he's able to do this because the Oberkommando West just doesn't really have any mobile, powerful breakout units. The Puma's just gonna get its shit pushed in if it gets out here where this AT is. Can't even, like, one-on-one the Sherman. Finally, we have Tier 4 going up. I don't know, but that's a lot of fuel too, which is gonna make it pretty much impossible to buy this Jagdpanzer, because it's 135 fuel and he's only got 50 right now. And his income is plus 10. Weird teching from Cataclaw. Not sure I totally know what's going on with him in his brain right now. United States player, meanwhile, just leisurely buying what he needs. So 57mm has set up and could actually kill this truck. That would be really bad. After dumping the fuel into Tier 4, you don't want to lose it. Oh, it's going down. But this might actually be nice bait from the Oberkommando. Now it's alive, so it's got a big fuck-off gun on it. Look at that damage! I take back the stuff I said about the Sherman Bulldozer. I'm gonna put it back on in a moment, though. I think I'm still right about that. But nice pushing off his lieutenant with all his infantry. Please note, though, that is all his infantry over there on the left fighting. It's looking pretty dire for Cataclaw at this point. I think it's the teching that really hurt him. There were some... I mean, the fighting you saw was back and forth the entire game. Both players fighting a lot and losing a lot. Cataclaw at one point had his opponent pinned in the base, had the whole map to himself, and he capitalized on that, not immediately, but slowly over time by going up to Pumas. He got 3 Pumas, I believe, or maybe just 2. I'm pretty sure it was 3. One got killed, and then later another got killed. So he really went all in on Tier 3. He went straight to Tier 3. In fact, you'll remember he skipped Tier 2. He went straight to Tier 3 and started pumping out the Pumas. At about the time the first Sherman hit, the first Puma was in production. And that should really tell you a lot about how the teching works for the Oberkommando, how the teching was working for Cataclaw this game, and how his choices ended up working out for him, which is to say not tremendous. I would have liked to see maybe a rush to a Panther, maybe... there's a Sturm Tiger, I didn't know they got one of those. Maybe a rush to a Panther. I don't know, if you're going to go fast Tier 3... I don't know, I guess he was going fast Tier 3. What are you going to say to an Oberkommando West player who wants to go fast Tier 3 and get out Pumas? It's probably a legit strategy, right? The heaviest stuff you're going to face is Shermans, and your Pumas can go toe-to-toe. So really, maybe the lesson isn't that he made bad teching choices, it's that he wasn't able to exploit the teching choices that he made. The Pumas that he got weren't able to be used in a very mobile fashion. The Sherman was out as soon as they were out, and he was afraid of flanking because the United States player really dumped a lot into bazookas. You got to give Once Over some credit for going for bazookas against the Fallschirmjäger doctrine. Remember, Cataclaw had tipped his hand a little earlier than the Shermans and stuff, that he was going Fallschirmjägers, that he had went Fallschirmjägers. Fallschirmjägers were walking around. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good hint. And so you got to commend the United States player for taking a look at Fallschirmjägers and saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm still going to buy bazookas for my riflemen. I'm still going to get even bazookas on my assault engineers. That's really going to reduce your ability to fight these Fallschirmjägers, and it's a big pill to swallow, but it was, I think, the right call. It made Cataclaw afraid to use his Pumas in any sort of mobile, dynamic fashion, and if you can't use your Pumas in a mobile, dynamic fashion, then quick-teching to Pumas isn't going to get you a lot versus United States or versus anybody, and having been unable to exploit the Pumas that he got, look at this. What is that? Fake rapid, recon. The fuck is that? Supervise. What is... Rick, what is this thing? Nearby infantry will rally on the captain. Supervise. Maybe that's this? No. What the tell me what the fuck this thing is. Maybe it pops up when the ambulance is healing people. No, look, it's got a little thing. Okay, well, tell me what the fuck this thing is, and also tell me if you agree that the inability to exploit the Pumas because of all the handheld AT and the American Sherman that was out at the same time is what spelled Cataclaw's demise, or whether you think something else was responsible for the failure of the 5th best Soviet player and the 8th best German player in the world to win this game of Company of Heroes 2 Western Front.